Hey everyone, Donter here. There are many artists in the Pokemon TCG, and it's my goal to cover as many as I can, so I can help you, the viewer, determine which one of these fantastic artists can hold the spaces of your binders or the slabs in your room. You might find a new favorite card, or a new favorite artist. I'm currently attempting to hit 400 subscribers, so if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing to see more content regarding the artists of the Pokemon TCG. If there's an artist that you'd like to see reviewed next, then let me know in the comments. In today's video, we talked about Yuka Morii. Yuka Morii started illustrating cards in the set Neo Discovery, released June 1st, 2001, and has illustrated 212 cards, including any reprints they may have. Something that I think that anyone that has eyes can notice is that Yuka Morii uses clay models, which I think is pretty awesome. Unfortunately, that means that my video criteria may have to be a little different from what I'm used to. The criteria for this video will be as follows: clay models, changes, and backgrounds. For my first point, I wanted to talk about the clay models of Yuka Morii's cards. Obviously, these are the main draw of their cards, but don't be mistaken, these clay figures are much more than static objects. I think that they can be just as dynamic as regular artworks by any other artist. In the Sojourner from Scarlet and Violet base set, the Pokemon looks up into the sky confidently, with its arms to the side of it. The environment around the Pokemon really adds to that effect of longing, and it's just a simplistic area to be in, but the Pokemon itself does still look determined. The angle makes the Pokemon's legs work quite well. In the Drapion V from Crown Zenith, Drapion has this intrigued look on its face, and as it looks at the little Scorpy, who's staring at the other one nearby a rock, showcasing personality from all three of the Pokemon in the card. And, for a clay Pokemon, that in and of itself is an impressive feat. How about we talk about one of their older cards, being the Gloom from EX Hidden Legends. I feel like this card perfectly encapsulates Gloom's whole vibe, which I really appreciate. I also really just like the colors used for the clay on this card. They pop really nicely and are very accurate. Next, I wanted to mention Yuka Morii's changes in their clay models, and let's start with one of their older clay models, being the Rattata from Expedition. I really do like this card a lot. Rattata looks a little silly, however. I feel like the proportions are definitely a little exaggerated, which obviously isn't a bad thing, but I feel like it's a little different from what we expect from Morii nowadays. Take the Meltan from Stellar Crown for example. The card is clear, the Pokemon is really shiny, and feels very metallic. The proportions of the Pokemon, from what I understand, are also a lot more uniform and consistent, which is something that I feel like you kind of notice in general with Pokemon artworks. It feels like back in the day, they used to be a little bit more lenient with how the Pokemon could look in artworks, sort of inviting more unique styles that really stretch what makes a Pokemon. However, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just change. However, I still think it's interesting to mention that change in the clay models from era to era, which is why I bring it up. Finally, I would like to point out Morii's backgrounds. The backgrounds in Yuka Morii's cards can vary wildly. Interestingly, in their Jigglypuff from Neo Destiny, the Pokemon is seen in a background that could probably never be found in any sense on this planet, with that plain green floor and a plain white and blue sky. However, nowadays, they really only use real locations, which I feel like is used to great effect in a card like the Aipom from Paradox Rift. I think that the way the Aipom crawl along the tree's branch nicely represents a sense of scale for the Pokemon in the world without having to grab some kind of enormous branch or making them genuinely life-size, which is a really good way to fix that potential issue before it has ever occurred. Interestingly, for a card like the Goldeen from Neo Revelation, I can't really tell what is real and what isn't. For example, the little waterfall effect looks sorta like balls of cotton, but the grass looks pretty real to me. I'm not sure if that's just me, but it is still a really cool effect regardless. Now, let me talk about my top 5 favorite cards from Yuka Morii. In no particular order, here we go. Firstly, I have the Trapinch from EX Dragon. I love this little sitting Trapinch inside of a dark and lonely cave. It feels really adorable, and I think that the dark atmosphere can be considered as truly sinister, but the Pokemon in the card definitely exudes more of a calming and cute effect than a scary one, which I definitely appreciate. Next, we've got the Drapion V from Crown Zenith. Previously, I talked about how nice this card is and how many aspects there were, but I just want to mention that in general, the Drapion V is a really gorgeous artwork. I think the whole cliffside idea is a really good one, with a darker background and the lighter foreground. I always really appreciated this artwork from Crown Zenith, even though it's not the most popular or crazy ridiculous artwork from the set. And now, I have the Dratini from Neo Destiny. There's something to really appreciate about that simplistic clay mold with the simple wave crashing in the background. There's something really nostalgic about this card, and having it in my collection really helps me appreciate it quite a bit. Next, I've got the Mareep from Platinum Base. Honestly, I just think that the sculpture is quite adorable. I really appreciate the focus that we get on the Pokemon in this card. It's executed really well, and it's just a cute little Mareep. What is there to dislike about this card? Finally, we have the Venusaur and Snivy GX Sun and Moon promo. I really like how Venusaur looks in this card. I mean, he's big, chunky, but he still looks kinda cute, which is a really good balance to strike with a Pokemon like this. The vines covering up the Pokemon is also a really nice touch. with the Snivy also looking quite adorable. It's nice to see that Morii was able to do an alternate artwork card for the Sun and Moon era, because I think it looks pretty nice. And that was Yuka Morii. I think these little cute clay cards are really amazing. I think there's really just so much to love about Yuka Morii's artwork. If you collected all their artworks in one binder, it would just be an incredible achievement. I can see why people really like this artist, as I enjoyed them too quite a lot. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by liking and commenting, as well as considering subscribing to this channel. I cover everything you need to know about Pokemon artists, and with that, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one.